Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5. It's Thursday, July 31st. Got a great show planned for you today. We'll start out with Bill Kurelic weighing in on the impending decision from Ohio offensive lineman James Daniels, who is expected to announce his college decision later this morning. We have the latest from Bill on where he thinks the Buckeyes stand. We'll talk about Urban Meyer's car wash appearance on ESPN coming up later today. We'll talk about a player we and a lot of people expect to have a great year this year, but he might not be so psyched that I'm the one choosing him, and we'll take a look at what we have coming up on the site today here on the Bucknuts Morning 5. Up first, as promised, the Dean of Midwest Recruiting on today's impending recruiting news.
Offensive lineman James Daniels from Warren Harding High School in Ohio will announce his college choice at 11 o'clock this morning at Harding High School. His choices have been Ohio State, Iowa, or Alabama, but really his decision is down to either Ohio State or Iowa. The question is, which one does he pick? His father, LaShun Daniels, a former great Ohio State offensive lineman, told me on Wednesday that a final choice might not even be made until this morning. He said the family was going to talk about things again last night, and perhaps James would sleep on things. Even James's brother, LaShun Daniels II, who is at Iowa, won't know about James's decision until the actual announcement is made. James's crystal ball currently reads Iowa 55%, Ohio State 42%. Steve Wiltfong from 24/7 Sports is picking Iowa, but would not be at all surprised if it went Ohio State's way. And I'm the opposite. I am picking Ohio State, but I wouldn't be surprised if it went Iowa's way. The Buckeyes were still talking to James as late as Wednesday, and certainly James is one that the Ohio State staff most definitely wants. He is the only offensive lineman in Ohio that the Buckeyes have offered in the 2015 class, and he is a guy that the Ohio State staff feels could come in eventually and be their starting center. And of course, we will have the news when James Daniels makes his announcement later this morning.
You can rest assured that we here at Bucknuts are acutely aware of the angst felt towards ESPN on a lot of levels based on their coverage of the Buckeyes over the years. And we're not going to go into that too much today, except to say that ESPN will have an Urban Palooza going on today, and that's Urban Meyer at the car wash, they call it, at ESPN. The head coach of the Buckeyes will be participating in interviews and video stuff all day at ESPN from about 10 a.m. to about 1 p.m. They'll run him through College Game Day. I think he starts out with an appearance on College Game Day Radio. He'll finish up at 1 p.m. with an appearance on College Football Live. That will eventually air on ESPN at 2:30 p.m. today. This is pretty standard practice for either right after or right before media days. All of the coaches in a conference get focused on for an entire day at ESPN. While I do get the fact that there is, as I said earlier, some hard feelings between the Buckeye Nation and ESPN, it is a chance to get to see Urban put on his national face and be the charming elite recruiter and interview guest that he is. So this is good pub for Ohio State, regardless of the platform. There's really no way to avoid ESPN. It's not something that would work well when it comes to recruiting. And if you look at the Training Days video they did with Urban and his past broadcasting forays with ESPN, I think you could probably make an argument that ESPN has worked in Ohio State's favor since the Herb took over. Every year at Bucknuts, we try and pick out a guy who we think is going to have a huge year. Individually, we'll discuss it. Unfortunately, my choices have not been excellent over the past few years. It started with my call that Nathan Williams would be the MVP of the defense, that Rod Smith would be the starting running back, and then last year, my guy was Adolphus Washington. I even had a nickname picked out for him already. Godzilla is an excellent name for a devastating defensive lineman, and I still think Adolphus has a shot to come through on said nickname this year, but we'll see. He's got to stay healthy. So I'm apologizing in advance to Curtis Samuel. You're my guy this year. I realize I'm following the crowd on this a bit, but as I said, in a gathering with Urban Meyer a little bit before Memorial Day, he was the one player he stopped the crowd when talking about to say, hey, if you want to seem smart about the Buckeyes this year, look for number 4, Curtis Samuel. So I'm going with the Herb on that one. Again, I'm sorry about that, Kurt. Keep it locked to Bucknuts all day. In a few hours, we'll have the latest on James Daniels as he announces his college decision. Have a great day, Bucknutters.